Have you ever lost a file on your computer? A document you poured hours into, or photos from a trip you'll never forget? It's frustrating, right? Now, imagine losing not just one file, but the entire internet. All of it. Gone forever. That's the scale of tragedy we're talking about when we discuss the Great Library of Alexandria. But what really happened to this legendary hub of knowledge? And what did we truly lose? Let us travel back in time and uncover the truth behind one of history's greatest intellectual catastrophes. Welcome, history lovers. Today, we're journeying to ancient Egypt, to a city that was the shining beacon of the Hellenistic world, Alexandria. Founded by Alexander the Great, it quickly became a bustling metropolis, a melting pot of cultures and ideas. And at its very heart was a dream brought to life by the Ptolemaic dynasty, a universal library. The goal was audacious, almost unbelievable, to collect all the knowledge of the world under one roof. Imagine a place that wasn't just a building with shelves, but a sprawling campus. It was more like a modern university, complete with lecture halls, gardens for contemplation, and research facilities. Scholars from across the known world, Greece, Persia, Babylon, India, flocked here. It was a true intellectual paradise. The Ptolemies were so obsessed with acquiring knowledge that they enacted a remarkable law. Any ship docking in Alexandria's harbor had to surrender its books. Scribes would then meticulously copy them. The original scrolls were kept for the library, and the copies were returned to the owners. Talk about an aggressive acquisition policy. So how many scrolls did it hold? Here, the first comprehensive grammar of the Greek language was written by Aristarchus. The works of Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey, were standardized into the versions we read today. The Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek, the Septuagint, a monumental task that made these texts accessible to a wider world. Imagine the lost treasures, plays by Sophocles and Euripides of which we now only have a fraction, histories of forgotten kingdoms, scientific theories that could have propelled us centuries forward. It's mind-boggling to even consider. So, we have this incredible institution, the intellectual center of the ancient world. And then, it vanished. The popular story, the one you've probably heard, is a dramatic one, a single, catastrophic fire. Often, Julius Caesar gets the blame. In 48 BC, while pursuing his rival Pompey in Alexandria, Caesar found himself besieged. He ordered the enemy's ships in the harbor to be set on fire. The story goes that the flames spread from the docks and engulfed the great library, turning centuries of knowledge into ash. It's a powerful, tragic image. But is it true? Well, it's complicated. Most modern historians believe this version is an oversimplification, a myth born from the desire for a single, dramatic culprit. While Caesar's fire likely did happen, it probably destroyed a warehouse near the port that contained scrolls, perhaps tens of thousands of them intended for the library, but not the main library itself. The library proper was located further inland, as part of the royal palace complex, and likely survived this incident. In fact, we have records of scholars working at the library for centuries after Caesar's visit. The geographer Strabo, for instance, worked there decades later and described it as still functioning. So if it wasn't one big fire, what had happened? The truth is likely a long, slow, and far more heartbreaking decline. A death by 1,000 cuts rather than a single blow. The decline of the library was tied to the decline of Alexandria and the Ptolemaic dynasty itself. As political instability grew, so did the anti-intellectual sentiment. Funding for the library, which was entirely dependent on royal patronage, began to dry up. Scholars were seen as a luxury the state could no longer afford. One major blow came in 145 BC, when Pharaoh Ptolemy VIII, in a fit of political paranoia, expelled all foreign scholars from Alexandria. Imagine kicking out every leading scientist and researcher from a country overnight. The intellectual vibrancy that had defined the library was crippled. It was a brain drain of epic proportions. The institution continued to exist, but it was a shadow of its former self. Then came the religious conflicts. As Christianity rose to prominence in the Roman Empire, pagan institutions like the library became targets. In 391 AD, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I issued a decree outlawing pagan practices. Theophilus, the bishop of Alexandria, took this as a green light. He led a mob that destroyed the Serapeum, a temple that housed a daughter library, a significant collection of scrolls in its own right. While this wasn't the main library, it was another devastating loss. The final, definitive end is murky. By the time of the Arab conquest of Egypt in 642 AD, it's probable that very little of the original Great Library remained. There's a famous, but likely apocryphal, story about the commander Amr ibn al-As asking the Caliph Omar what to do with the books. The Caliph supposedly replied, "If their content is in accordance with the Quran, we have no need of them. If it contradicts the Quran, they should be destroyed." According to the tale, the scrolls were then used to heat the city's bathhouses for 6 months. It's a dramatic story, but most historians today view it as a piece of later propaganda, created to tarnish the caliph's reputation. At that point, there probably wasn't much left to burn. So what did we actually lose forever? This is the most tantalizing question. We lost countless works of literature. We know of over 120 plays by Sophocles, but only 7 survive. What masterpieces were in the other 113? We lost the complete histories of Berossus, a Babylonian priest who chronicled the history of Mesopotamia, giving us a direct link to civilizations like Sumer and Akkad. We lost astronomical charts that might have contained centuries of observations, possibly even theories of a heliocentric solar system long before Copernicus. Imagine the medical texts, filled with knowledge from Egyptian and Greek physicians. Could there have been cures or treatments for diseases that we had to rediscover thousands of years later? We lost philosophical treatises that could have challenged or expanded upon the works of Plato and Aristotle. The loss isn't just about missing books. It's about missing links in our own intellectual evolution. It's the silent gaps on our historical timeline. It's like trying to complete a puzzle with half the pieces thrown away. The story of the Great Library of Alexandria is a powerful cautionary tale. It's not just a story about a fire. It's a story about the fragility of knowledge. It shows us how easily wisdom can be lost to political strife, budget cuts, intolerance, and simple neglect. The dream of Alexandria, to collect all the world's knowledge, is now being realized in a different form, the internet. But the lesson remains the same. We must actively work to preserve, protect, and share knowledge, and foster the curiosity and tolerance that allows it to flourish. The legacy of the library isn't just in the scrolls that were lost, but in the enduring power of its ambition, a dream that continues to inspire us to this day. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. What lost work from the library would you most want to read? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more historical deep dives. We'll see you next time.